C9. They're like a dark horse.
The X factor on their team, in my opinion, is Sam. I think he was probably the best American player last year. I've been friends with him for a long time, so should be fun to play him.
They have players who can just turn up randomly and just have like a really good game. So I have to take them seriously.
Welcome back to VCT Americas' second match on this glorious Sunday. It's NRG versus Cloud9, a big matchup. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here alongside with Baby Bay, Mimi, and Ender as we look to break everything down. Now, let's go ahead and set the stage for you lovely people, okay? Because the stakes are actually massive for both of our teams that are playing. Actually, stakes are massive for 3 of our teams, funny enough. Now, here's how it works, right? Now, in order to keep the playoff hopes alive, if Cloud9 manages to pick up a dub here, not only will they lock themselves in, but they'll also be doing a solid for the boys over in Crew as well, which is massive. So if you're a Crew fan, you're cheering on C9 here, Ender.
Absolutely, but it also means if Cloud9 win here, that's 2 extra locks. There's only 1 spot up for grabs with like 100 Thieves and EG in the mix. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely nutty.
And for NRG, I mean, a win here is staying alive. They're still going to have to rely on tiebreakers in that like 5-5, maybe 6-5 area. But this win is absolutely necessary to even start considering.
Yeah, like in the long run, NRG might not be in control of their own fate, but right now, their fate is they have to win. So they are a little bit in control, right? They got to keep the drive alive here. Now, NRG did manage to go back to basics last week when they faced off against Crew. And I think that what we saw was the energy that, you know, Mimi, we've always come to know and love, right? The team that's put together, the team that has strats and manages to, like, really hone in on the weaknesses of their opponents here and get those wins. NRG managed to do that last week against Crew.
Yeah, I felt like they played pretty well. This is a team who I think has started to become known for, like, some of the weird comps they were pulling out throughout. But I feel like they were playing some pretty reasonable stuff here. I've actually really liked them leaning into Victor on the Neon. I think it was always a super strong role for him. And with the patches, too, I think that makes a lot of sense. We saw the revival of Psalm as well in that week. So this was like hope coming back alive for this new energy.
Yeah, they just get a little too crazy with these comps. I mean, like this composition on Split, you know what's the funny thing is? They got mopped on it 13-8, but they had a lot of first bloods. So there's a lot of good things about it. It's just when they bring out these unique comps that are very dually in a way, they kind of forget about the fundamentals. They don't do reclears correctly. You know, they're not trading correctly. So amongst them trying to set up those first bloods, they're losing all that rest of the repertoire that they have in their gameplay.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I might be the only person on the planet that, like, kind of digs the way NRG have these, like, comps. Like, I'm actually a big fan of some of these comps. I just think they're exceptionally difficult to play, right? So when you actually go back to simpler comps, they can focus a little bit more on those little details where they are able to look a lot better.
And man, if you look at their last series, before this win over Crew, the issue was the fundamentals, having actually good calls, setting themselves up in winning positions, and then making little mistakes in the late round that let things slip into their opponent's hands. Here, that was a lot more dialed in. I think they've done a really impressive amount of work between these games. Remember, from the last game they played to their final game coming up, it's literally a week between all of that, and having market improvement within that time frame is really impressive.
I think a lot of that was summarized by Liz's, interview with Sam and FNS, where they were like, okay, we don't have a lot of time. We've been out of the game for, 11 months, they said?
10 months, I believe.
10 months, yeah. And you got to make up for it. The fact that they were able to make up for it that quickly, yeah, you're 100% right. That's very impressive to do in a new meta, nevertheless.
Yeah, that, I think, is the crazier part, because we got it. Even though, of course, FNS and Sam were part of the team last year, they're still coming in halfway in the season, having to, like, right the ship, if you will. It's a tall task, to say the least. But the thing is, though, is that you got players like Sam on this team who really can step up and do some crazy things. He's always been, a lights-out player for NRG when he was on the team last season, but this time around, it's just good to see him back in the server.
Yeah, and he's pretty much locked into that Omen role for the team. I think he's been playing exceptionally well. Of course, he has the skill to be able to pick up odd guns like the Operator, too, and dominate in post plants, too. But also, in a lot of these situations, it's a combination of, A, these clips right here, we super clutch playing on his own, and also ideas of NRG playing around him with Yoru flashes to set him up.
In that hype video earlier, I mean, Vanity said Sam was the best American player of last year, which I thought was a little crazy, but honestly, he deserves the nod. Like, he was so sick when he was playing with NRG. His breakout performances at Lock-In, even at some of the other international events they were attending, even when NRG was losing, Sam was their strongest player in my mind, and seeing him find that form again, I think is huge for this team to still have a chance.
Yeah, and it's not only his performances in game, right? It's what he brings outside of the game as well in terms of the communication and his hypeness in general, because this
And
NRG...
it sounds like he's more empowered this time around as well.
Exactly, he has more of a voice.
Yeah.
Exactly, and this team has always been a team where it's been like they're like the cool guys on the block, you know, it's always business. When you think of NRG or Optic, you think of the core, you think, you know, they roll up like this.
Yeah, kind of like FNS's picture.
Yeah, literally. They're very serious and it's about business, but that's a good thing to have. But the addition of Sam to get that little extra spark into them and motivate the players, that's what they need.
It was funny because I was walking through the hallways before this game and I sort of brushed past him. I'm going to leak right now. Some super jovial, having a great time. He's like, word of the day today, leadership.
Nice.
Now, I don't know what that means. If that means that
Well, it's the word of the day.
he's going to be leading, or if FNS is going to be dominating in the server, he's just going to be performing well individually. All I know is the word of the day is leadership, and that's got to mean something, Mimi.
It certainly means something. Thank you for that insightful report, Chris. That was really hard-hitting journalism right there.
No one else knew that the word of the day was leadership today.
And now we know. But what's crazy,
That's a humdinger.
is that Sam has become such a household name in VALORANT with his breakout performance last year, obviously with the streaming he was doing with Finesse, and now coming back to this team. But the guy is still super young. Last year was his rookie year, his first time playing at this level in his career. And now he's coming back into this after so much time away from competing that hitting the ground running, finding his confidence again so quickly, and really growing as a player in that amount of time without actually having played a lot of officials is so impressive.
And you ask him, he apparently is old. He's 22 and he's old.
He's almost old.
Oh, he's almost, baby. Esports old.
Esports, baby.
Wow, wild stuff there. All right, well, for more on NRG's comeback win and so much more, let's go ahead and send it over to Geek Heavy, who's standing by with Coach Chet.
All right, joining right now, we have Coach Chet of NRG. Now, I want to kind of talk about the last match against Crew. You all lost the first map, so I want to know, what was the discussion to kind of like that you had with the team to kind of turn things around and finally win?
So after the first map, I got kind of heated a little bit because I knew we were playing pretty good, especially on their defense side. But some rounds were just like turning like in a weird direction. Like they were getting like stinger kills like randomly and just trading us like for no reason. So my main point was like we need to just trade. Like I know we're like way better than we are, but we just need to focus on trading. So it's basically just like team play. Like I was like we just need to focus up because we have such better halves. So we just actually like cared enough to like be in position to trade each other.
Now, has that win against Crew, has that like, I guess like ignited newfound motivation for the team overall?
I think like at least mentality wise probably feels pretty good now, because before it was like, oh, we're just getting like kind of slaughtered. We had really bad starts on like most of our maps, but we're kind of getting a lot of momentum on these maps. So now we know we're capable, and I think going into the C9 game, we're gonna feel slightly confident just because we have the win on our back.
Awesome. Well, best of luck today.
Thank you.
Well, let's go ahead, though, and move on to their opponents. You got Cloud9. Now, they came into Stage 1 right at the top of the standings, but now they are in trouble. They're in a position where they may not be able to make playoffs. Baby Bad did not think that was going to happen, considering how this team has been playing throughout the season.
It is pretty insane, but you have to take into account like strength of schedule, right? That first stage for them, the strength of schedule wasn't that bad. But most notably, they would not be here if they didn't take out teams like Leviathan early on. I think they beat Loud early on as well, right? These are still very big wins that still have them in contention to make the playoffs. So they just got to scramble for anything.
And this stage, they lose a close game to G2, and they lose a bit of a stomp to Sentinels. But those, in my mind, are two of the top three teams in our league that I'm actually not super doomer about this team. I think that we have seen some things slip. Maybe Oxy not quite performing as well as he was last stage. You know, some of the players like kind of choking away games like we saw in that G2 series. But I still think that they played two of the best three teams in the league, and there's still a lot of time to lock in playoffs.
A lot of time.
2 matches.
Two
You only have to
matches,
win one of them.
sure, but
50% win rate. That's not even a passing grade in school.
I don't know if it's that simple. I'm not really sure what Sentinels is tweeting up here. I don't get it. Much like I don't really get C9's attacking abs this stage.
Actually, that is a crazy thing to think about too. Like C9 really struggling on that attack has certainly been a problem for them, and they could very well get picked apart if they're not careful.
Yeah, they absolutely could. And I mean, like, for this squad, it's always been the team of, like, high potential, but never quite making it there at just the right time, right? Like, you remember last year getting so close in the regular season, then falling flat in playoffs. It was the same
Chokers.
in LCQ. Like, it's been a long time since they've actually made it to an international event.
Yeah.
So this team needs to lock in, fix those attacking sides, and get a win.
And they're right there, but they got to pick up that dub here today. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. NRG versus C9. Let's send it down to the floor.
Riot Games Arena, it's time to kick off this NA showdown and bring out our first team. Make some noise for NRG! And now let's bring out their opponents. Give it up for Cloud9.
This is the moment. Gotta one up my opponent. Back then they ain't noticed me, now they know it's me. I'm the chosen. It's my time, yeah. Put that on Bible. No excuses. Gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man. The trophy is vital. Gang time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man. They can't keep up. The gang's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us. Better under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all. You better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster.
A massive matchup is about to take underway here as we got NRG versus Cloud9. Set the stakes yet again. NRG need to win this to stay alive in VCT Americas, to be able to make it to the playoffs, keep those hopes alive. Meanwhile, for C9, if they pick up a win here today, they'll lock up playoffs and they'll do a solid for their boys and crew.
And for C9, if they're going to be able to do that, they have to figure out their attacking side. In their last series versus Sentinels, they won 0 rifle rounds on attack. They got pistol, and they got the conversion afterwards. It has been ugly for them. The majority of the maps they played this stage, they've got to sort that through.
And you know what? They're starting on a map of Ascent where they're 1-7 this year. One win on this map, which is so crazy because some of the attacking halves they've had previously in stage 1 and etc. have been pretty good.
Yeah, and something I'm looking at this series that the team has talked about in an interview, Coach Imi was saying that they needed to learn to rely less on Oxy. This is the team for me that when I watch them in the Americas, they're putting the most resources into the duelists. They have a lot of double initiator comps where they're really heavily building setups around Oxy. And if he's not following up off of that, if things aren't working out, it's a really heavy investment to put in.
He's going to need to step up himself, too, because I think, like, part of that, the reasoning behind that is that Oxy has not been as elite in Stage 2 as he was in Stage 1, right? This guy was lights out when he first broke onto the scene. Now he's been all right, but not that same level of incredible performance we know that he can have.
And I just wonder if he's not putting up these big numbers anymore because they are trying to go away from that. And at the same notion of, like, you can't rely on one person and do everything on your team. You also have to remember the success that player gives you and how you even got here in the first place.
He's definitely the win condition, especially on this map. They're starting defense side Ascent. This is where Oxy needs to take over if Cloud9 want to lock those playoffs.
Both teams need the win and neither can afford to lose. It's a big matchup. Let's go ahead and send it over to some big game casters. You got Vancilia and Riv for the call.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy and indeed Rivington. They presented it well at the desk. A lot of eyes on this game today between C9 and their opponents here of NRG, because a win right now for C9 and C9 fans and Crew fans want it will secure them at least a playoff berth for those two teams. And for NRG, they're just trying to stay alive. A win here, if not, playoff contention is over.
It has been turmoil for NRG. They go back to a composition that found them wins before, found them results, but is it there yet? Enough to find the win over Cloud9 here, who is gunning for their first in stage 2, right, as we're talking about, but also a little more rounded right now in what they might be able to do from the defensive side. It's like the desk said, we got to watch out for the attack side, though. And on Ascent, as Baby Bay said, Cloud9 has not had great results on this map. So this one kind of just is an open book for the start to see how both teams are going to approach it.
The first thing that brings to mind to me when I see C9 on the defensive side of this map was their matchup against Furia, where Furia went 12-0 on their attack half against C9. So you're hoping for that correction, that they've went through those VODs and that they're ready to play against NRG, who are already hitting towards this A side. Victor already coming towards that back, and Ethan's holding that door. Door is also going to close. Looks like C9's ready to play the flood rating, and it's quick. Paranoid comes out, and that's a twofer for both teams. And now a 3-on-3 spike is yet to come down, but it's out in the open and up for grabs for the attack side of NRG. Tap on that spike, door gets broken, shot darts on the ground, but Som lands the shot. Low HP of the players of NRG, and lower HP are C9 falling down.
Great job in sight by C9. Looked like Vanity actually got a little wrench in the works there by taking down FNS on the flank, but it was all in sight. The chaos was handled. NRG coming up very strong on that one and doing a great job to take the first round away from the attack side here, and we'll watch it again. But yeah, C9, they kind of just said, we're going right in, and they tried to overwhelm the site with a swarm.
Strong start, too, from their positioning, and you definitely saw here from NRG. They really stayed calm in this situation now, despite seeing the quick adjustment coming out from Cloud9, trying to counteract that rush right away. You're seeing now this full eco coming out from Cloud9 and a gamble stack. All 5 players potentially reading that the hit from NRG is coming towards this B site. Just good read for so far, because Victor is trying to probe the entrance.
Same look for NRG on this round, too, just a different site. FNS on the lurk with 4 working towards that front side. Now, anything can still happen on this one as FNS is gaining that info, and they still have mid to work after these rounds. But you're right, Vanity with the call here for the second round. They can get even a B main push when the smoke clears to find out that no one's there. That'll be good info to get them on a position for a retake. And NRG have slowed it down. I mean, you got to expect Vanity has a Bucky or something crazy just around the corner. Guy's done it before, a shorty, something else. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a slow one for the second round.
And if anything on this full eco, a right-click classic is also good enough here for Cloud9. And you could definitely tell here from that stack that they have no choice but to just wait in line, because any type of utility that they're trying to use on their defensive side will potentially give the tell here for NRG of where that stack could be.
Exactly. Just the little audio cues. Walking into mid there, it was actually Spike. Ethan was going on a little fact-finding mission. And they head over towards A after inserting crashies and trying to fake the B drone. They still keep C9 to anchor B, and this should be a very smooth entrance into A here for NRG as they set up the post plant. And Finesse, he wants to get everything out of these rounds, it seems. Not leaving too much up to chance. They only lose 1 there. They did get crashies out.
All he wanted to do was to stay behind. And Cloud9 getting that pick, not picking up the ghost. Finesse, first contact towards the tree. Has support coming out here from Ethan as they're crunching in now for Cloud9. Paranoid now comes out. There's the first contact by Finesse. Clean on that shot with the stinger. Vanity pushed behind by the fragment left here by the KO. Now here comes C9 flooding in as you have Zeppa stuck inside that side. Now pinched and sandwiched by the dice. Som gets that pick. At least 2 players alive now for Cloud9. And they're just going to wait out that clock. I mean, they've done some decent damage so far. There's 3 players left alive for NRG. And it seems it'll be those 3 players keeping their guns for the next round for NRG as they convert now the anti-eco.
All right, we get to a bonus. And we'll see if C9 can wrap a strat around NRG, maybe on the extremities, figure out what FNS wants to do. It has been almost 2 years and 1 month now. It has been 2 years since Vanity faced off against FNS in the game here in the Tier 1. And these minds, these IGL reunion right now to see whose mind can be the better as we'll get this first gun round in. So FNS has kept it slow. Only a little bit of mid-prodding has happened so far. So C9 still has to worry about when that starts to happen. Again, to the right side of the map, but all 5 this time for NRG. It looks like they wanted to get caught inside that 0 point just a little bit.
And full arsenal's already coming out for Cloud9. Rooney invested into this Odin. You heard it ring very faintly in the background as they're trying to get a wallbang frag into B main. But they don't know yet here for NRG, rather, that all of the team is grouped up here towards the A site. Knife comes out, it will disable Oxy in terms of his utility, and there's that Victor pushing through, Cloud burst away, backstab onto Vanity as well. That opens up the site for a bit. Upgrade weapon now coming in for NRG. As it's the same thing as the pistol round. They close in, they close the door, and they try to get the spike plant down, but at least Zeppo was able to get one before this plant came through.
Molly going out, trying to clear a little bit of lower here. Looks like they're about to fall in if they can get this door pushed on rather from tree.
And both Owl drones got information right here, and they realize now for NRG that Cloud9 are looking to flood once again for the top pass. So that lurk from behind, long range with the stinger. And there's only one left alive, and it's Victor that knocks down Zephyr at the dice. And NRG now convert their bonus round as well, and they're building up the economy.
I feel it looks like FNS has a UAV above his head just telling him where C9 is, the timing on his movements, routing around the backside of C9's defense, and they are not looking good to start here with NRG taking 3 so quick. And it looks like FNS has a read on the game already, which is making these rounds just so simple for them. Not even losing that many on this big return on investment just for the stinger. And yeah, NRG looking like the days of old here. Smiles on their face as Victor's just flying into the site, doing those things we remember, creating impact frags. Back towards B. Spans. This has been A, B, A, B. Just back and forth, pulling C9 across the map. And another spam kill coming in.
It's always fine for NRG.
Absolutely.
Especially for Finesse, as they find any type of aggression wherever they want to move towards to. It's always going to be a slow round right after, where Finesse now has the opportunity to call the mid round. As they go for pre-fired shots, and there was a timing here for Cloud9 to try to come out. But it looks like NRG found that timing to fall back on time, but Trips is also going to watch their backs.
Yes, the cross-map coverage here.
Long range with the Sheriff. Ooh. That's Oxy right in the dome, but answered back by some onto Moose, so they know there's at least one more player behind enemy lines. Back and forth to go once again towards the tree. But needless to say, it's only Rooney left alive with the Sheriff. Storm 4 kills in the round, and they're not looking to stop for NRG.
They're not, and they react really well to the push too. You see NRG kind of had a little false sense of security on that tripwire, but realized it was still peekable, turned around, took care of the problem, continued forward to just take care of the round. One after the other here for NRG. Does not seem like they found anything that's going to stop from the side of C9, but maybe now, putting into the mix now, the Oxy's going to grab the operator, start putting that into the mix, and see if they can get a first shot on this, because if they don't, NRG's going to recognize the op and hit the site even harder, making that op retake difficult for C9. So a gamble in a sense, but still, this could be big for Oxy, and they find him right away. How unfortunate for him.
And that's a drone that's going to push him back. Oxy stays outside of the radius of the knife being thrown by Ethan, but he's still going to look to reposition back towards middle and probably switch this spot once again with Rooney. Actually, he's just waiting with the Odin to wallbang towards the spot once turret actually sounds the alarm. But for now, nobody from NRG are going to move in towards Pizza. All of them once again grouped up together, but this time towards the front B site.
Ooh, null command, but this is going to be good. Moose is over at A, so they can still activate the mollies.
Recon Dart came out though, and it's not going to ping Vanity, who breaks it right away. Smoke's coming out, the sprays through from the Odin, but the first contact are from both players on either side, but NRG takes the tally of the lead of this tally so far in terms of the trades. Looks like one more time, C9 will have to play the retake, but at a man disadvantage.
Yeah. And again, before this retake, let's talk about NRG adapting to that, realizing the mollies went out, they couldn't shut the door, and they knew the fight would instantly come from mid pressure. They didn't have. They turn, they kill mid, and all of that delay in B site goes away as NRG again figure out how to get around it.
And as soon as Finesse throws that hat, you definitely know here that it's game over for Cloud9 in this round, especially when Rooney only has 1 HP off this Odin, and they were looking to just flood back. They still had that flash available from Zeppa, but that one hat thrown out by Finesse, the difference that you have in the Sentinels between NRG and C9, you definitely see the advantage here of Finesse pulling out the Cypher.
And now they know there's an op on the map too. So they'll have to play around that. Again, it's been A, B, A, B. We haven't seen them go mid just yet. There was a look mid because I think they expected Ox to grab an op as fast as possible. That was the first time from Tiles there's been a fast drone mid for NRG. So that's how much they're reading the game right now, knowing the intention and what C9 want to get out of the next round. Again, fighting towards that door after they knew they couldn't close it, just quickly thinking of what would C9 want to do in this situation and shutting it down. They are fast to act right now on the side of NRG, and that's going to be his first C9 timeout at a 0-5 right now in the first map.
Yeah, and at least on the side of NRG, there is some sort of pressure that they have. It's a little bit lighter that you have on middle. A couple of rounds there, you saw Som just went for the spray through the smoke on Catwalk, but if not early Owl Drone. So they have some sort of presence to figure out what type of information that they have. But all this information that they gather here from the initiators, from Som lurking around, it gives all this package here for Finesse to have the right call. I mean, they've been great pushes so far for NRG. Not necessarily always having to go for splits either into these sites to just death ball in, and they're able to just play these post plant scenarios.
Yeah, and you can even, you know, see that they kind of read the way that Cloud9's been playing previous games, where they'll take some 1v1s, they'll go for fights, and NRG more of a team to swing as twos, have a little buddy system, play the strategy more to a protocol where they'll have a high-low trade, and that's where C9 might lose a one and done, and NRG is up in a number. We have to see this teamwork come together here for NRG. As much as it is to promote Oxy play, they still got to be behind each other on all of these shots across the map, not just for Oxy. The operator's still alive as we get into round 6 here after C9's timeout. And let's see what they can do here. Just Vanity with the ultimate. Sam too. So not really too much to have here in terms of that, unless Oxy gets a kill.
One suppressed.
We'll start with a slow round, though. Exchange of utility towards the A main. The one-way smoke thrown out by Vanity is not really forcing the hand of NRG to try to fight through until this flash comes out. The TP came across now from Som to take control of A main at the very beginning. Still that buddy system you mentioned here, Riv. It's there.
Yeah.
Vanity is set up with Zeppa. Just looking to move here towards the wine. The Allen drone, if it looks to clear towards the A site, though, might give a chance for Zeppa for the surprise.
I wonder if FNS peeks out here to Oxy, or that movement happens. They have just cement shoes right now as this wine play happens. They're going to see him.
Still swings down and still gets the kill at the Victor. The spray comes back through the smoke from NRG. But for now, Zeppa stays alive. Low HP, 5 left. Odin spray out from Crashies, but no shock darts to confirm the kill.
They hold the dart, not expecting it to do too much. Probably just get the kill on this. Maybe Sam said, you hold it. FNS is still lurking about, but they have a ping on him. I think they heard him on the left side there, and there's a shot from Oxy. We finally see that movement in mid as this wine play hits on that Zeppa.
It's the best you could have done here for Zeppa. Try to do another one and done, especially when the Allen drone didn't get broken. That allowed here for Crashies to get that ping towards the wine, get that information for them to close in on the Zeppa. Until Oxy lands that shot with the operator. Swings out again for the second one. A trade finally comes through, but it's only Finesse left. 1 versus 3, now a 1 versus 2. Cage up, 8 seconds left. Tap on that spike, he has to stick it. There's the Odin to spray out, and it's Rooney with the pick, and C9 finally score on the board.
Timeout. Pull one more round back. Let's get this. Emmy's words paying off big time there as Oxy's operator does come up with a few impact frags. That entry onto A and hitting Sam first was huge, so they can't smoke the site. They have to run in and play contact for the rest of that, basically with just some flashes. And all the pressure that Zeppa created at Wine too, incredible. Really stalling out FNS and the team because they didn't realize what could come out of Archway, what Cloud9 had planned. And they had the round win plan. That's going to be their first one, like you said. Emmy's got to feel good about that. And now the operator will pressure towards mid. And first time NRG's going to put a lot of their forces here too. The reads right now are kind of incredible from both teams and how they may be able to get an upper hand on these rounds.
There's that timing comes through, waiting for that smoke to be thrown, or the flash rather, as the smoke dissipates, allowing both players from NRG to push through and take down Oxy. That's the operator down. Null Command coming up to try to slow them down on the defensive side. That's Zeppa that activates it. Hunter's Sphere on an attack, does get the ping onto Moose, and Moose unfortunately falls for C9. Underhand flash, full player blind, and Zeppa gets the pick. Nowhere coming through now for NRG. Still a man behind, a man down. Cloud9 have to regroup, but they're separated across the map. Plant towards the B side for NRG, and Crashies is still trying to find that flank. A 1v1 should be won now by Vanity.
Whew. Almost a phantom moment. He's good. 2v2 now into the site as Victor pushes stairs here for the aggressive play.
It's a good call as well. Now it just got spotted towards the market. The dash is wasted. It actually separates both the players of Energy.
One enemy remaining.
Ethan goes for the hero play on top of the staircase. Jiggle peeks to see the last one, and not a chance for Vanity to come through. Ethan gets the headshot before even the smoke blooms in Energy. It's not giving C9 any type of momentum.
Some of the coolest plays come from misdirection, and Finesse and the team do a great job on this one of making sure that mid hit has so much impact. And while this was happening, on the left side, you had Crashies firing a dart over behind everyone in site and B, who was looking at the front of site, expecting the rest of Energy to come through. Hunter's Fury comes across, and it just chaos in the site. Well, you see that a lot of times, the clear boathouse, the back of B on big Killjoy hits. But since they have the Cypher, they make the play towards mid and still use the Hunter's Fury towards the backside of site. Really nice adjustment, and a good adjustment from Finesse there.
Tempo change from both teams. Not allowing Finesse to get any late lurks back towards the A side hit, but already Energy moved inside the side, already on top of Heaven too. Owl Drone to try to clear it out to give a chance now for Victor to move forward. Hunter's Fury out on the defensive side, Paranoia at the same time. It does get the contact onto Crashies. But we can't move in yet to go for the plant. Finally, Som goes for a safe plant.
Planted.
And they are swarmed right now. This is going to be a tough one. Victor's on top of Jenny trying to make it happen.
Just trying to stay alive now as he just got spotted by the Owl Drone, and dagger match for both Jets. But Victor gets picked off by Vanity, and that's too much to deal there for Som. And Cloud9 comes back for the defuse. And they still have a little bit of fight left.
Absolutely they do. A 6-6 first half. Not going to be too shabby here. I mean, 6 went real fast to the side of Energy. So it's been a good read here after that timeout from Emmy to get this game back in their favor. And it's not just the operator that's making it happen. These retakes, these hits, being a little bit more aggressive, as we see in the eyes of Oxy there, is what's paying off here. A nice jump by Rooney. And a little indecisive Som as he has multiple targets to shoot at as a tough one there to clutch. And they're going to come up with that. Another one for C9. So, do they start getting aggressive? Do they play on this momentum that they have? It looks like it might be a bit of a B main push.
Looks like a new strat in the playbook, though. Trying to do a little bit more conditioning. They throw the knife towards the A side.
Yeah.
The recon also towards B. So you're trying to ping a lot of players off the rip, and you realize a lot of them were towards this B side. Look at this fast pivot from Energy right after to commit towards middle to try to break this alarm bot while the rest of them are trying to work towards tree.
Just missed the alarm bot. Finesse might be able to hear that in a second, though. So we know what the lurk is, the play towards A so far, but this could easily go back market mid if they find that lurk.
Avoiding the flashes, though, are the defenders of Cloud9. Forced to fall back and played in the back lines of the A site. As Energy still grouping up, still looking for that opportunity here for Finesse to come through, potentially break the alarm bot. They still have a lot of time to work with here, too.
Oh, big dart.
On to, yeah, that knife is going to hit a lot. Vanity now setting up towards that back with Zeppa. That's a 1-for-1, but Victor opens it up. Forcing now Rooney to stay behind. Does have an Odin. It goes for shock darts as well at the default spot, but the plant is actually deep in the back of the A side for A main.
Oh, cat and mouse.
Oh my God, by Finesse.
It's not the first time, too, for this Ascent game. FNS has been so much trouble in the middle of the map here for Cloud9 on the rotations, on the play overall, and just being able to add information to what Energy wants. Another save here from Cloud9 as they push over towards B and try to keep themselves alive.
And this is nothing new. He's done similar things right now against Rooney. But this time couldn't get the punish onto Rooney. No second surprise. And for now, the last two players trying to save their weapons in the back of this B side. Low HP, but thankfully, if you're looking at that radar, they should be safe now. The spike will go and detonate, allowing Energy to score 7 now in this first half.
And we look at the way Cloud9's moving across the map. They're looking for this lurk, right?
Yeah.
We've seen Oxy in multiple rounds. One on Cat, where he basically stared through tile walls at Finesse, not knowing it. This one where he was coming through tiles, looking for Finesse. Both of them just on the very late lurk. And it hasn't worked out. They cannot find the position of Finesse each time. And it's just been a thorn in their side. 7-2 now, and these back and forth rounds are not helping the economy anywhere. Still got a bit we can buy on both sides after this loss, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But yeah, it is dwindling here as this one goes on. Round 10, back towards the B side of the site. You know, it looks like C9 are kind of just in a full rotation mode on this, ready to move to any side of the map because they're trying to play reactive instantly.
You see the change, small changes coming out from NRG.
Yeah,
they threw
always.
the pop flash before the smoke dissipated. It looked like it was going to be a similar play. And as they storm through, it breaks the timing of C9's positioning, and Oxy once again falls right away.
Crazy. Wait a minute. The brain is growing? Is it growing or is it getting smooth? We have to find out. Oh, it's growing. Ethan takes one down. They'll move in, but a hiding Rooney. Causing problems? Nope.
And look at the last two players already like staying back towards this A site. Thankfully, at least for now, Moose has full utility towards this A site so that they could try to have a final stand. Try to save the weapons into the next round, but Finesse is already on the hunt.
Just like the round starts and it's like C9's in instant save mode already. NRG again going for the throat on one of these rounds. And they're, yeah, just delaying the inevitable fight that's going to happen. We don't know who's going to go down yet, but they are pinching down on this site.
You talked about it, Riv, for some of these rounds where NRG didn't look like they were taking too much mid control, and this time when they add pressure towards it, they're finding success in that too. So any type of strat that's being called currently by Finesse, no timeouts needed on the side of the attack of NRG either, so that Chet doesn't need to get his word in, but they don't need to. C9's been struggling to find some sort of way to answer back into NRG's way of their working, the way that they're working the map here of VCT, excuse me, but sometimes it's with an AWP that comes out, and Oxy cannot find real value towards it because he gets smoked out right away or droned out right away.
NRG's using the windows they have super well. We see in the last few rounds, they get into a position. Last round mid, they just ran through. But the round they were in tree, hang out for tree for a second, gather a little bit more info. Once they got hit with a 0 point, they were ready to act. They peel out into sight, kill Zeppa, kill Vanity. They're not being put on the back foot right now in anything that Cloud9 is bringing to the table. And it's got to be so frustrating for Cloud9. It's not just FNS's calls around the play, around the map. It's also the shots just not hitting for C9 right now. Oxy's going to bring the AWP back out as we get an even slower round from NRG. And Finesse has been fast and slow, just pushing and pulling the mentality, if you will, of Cloud9 through these rounds.
Exactly.
Spikes just got picked up here at 1 minute.
And it forces these things, these jiggle peaks coming out from Cloud9 because they don't have that real utility to look back here as they're waiting for that utility to refresh, at least on Rooney and on Zeppa. And you almost saw one player got caught off towards the B main.
Look, are they going to sell B again with some Crashies util and then go towards A, or they're going to market mid? There's so many options they have here. 40 seconds.
Starts with a pop flash, though. Will the left corner be checked as Zeppa and Moose. Actually, Moose and Oxy are trying to hold that angle.
There it goes.
There's an all commando, 2 op shots ringing out from behind from Oxy on top of the tree. That activates the push. Moose is moving forward, gets the backstab onto Victor. No more dash entry finally for NRG. Subs holding the off angle, and at least the players inside the B site are holding their grounds. It's only Som left alone now to 1 versus 4. Paranoia, 13 seconds left. Spike down as well and out of reach. And finally, here comes that pinch. He's able to get 2 at least. Until he finally falls.
Yeah, almost a few more, too. Yeah, Cloud9 grab another one. An 8-4 would be huge with the way they have been hemorrhaging rounds throughout this first half here on defensive side. And to go to attack where they haven't had as much success could be very difficult. But this one, it was upping the tempo, right? That's all it took for a single round. Moose got into a different position, pushed back onto Cat. They weren't reactive. They were a little bit more proactive there. And just that movement threw NRG off. And it kind of makes you realize NRG feels free to do anything here. Like, they won't get pushed. They're not going to get that flank because Cloud9 has been playing so passive and letting NRG do what they want. Now the 3-2 split towards A. They stay out of that 0 point for one of these rounds. A lot of times FNS will be up on that with a few more members. And now they're already ready to enter into tree here.
It's another great point, actually. We haven't seen too many opportunities of Cloud9 setting up any trap plays to fight back against NRG's playstyle. So it's all reactive. A lot of the players now smoked up towards the tree. Counter paranoias for both teams. And Victor, close range battle, wins it against Vanity. Player advantage once again for NRG, scoring a lot of first bloods in this first half. And Ethan will get the plant down. But instantly that lockdown comes through, but it's passive towards the back. They know here that NRG loves to crunch in and try to break the lockdown. Now isolating everybody towards the left side. But Ethan is too good with the portal. That's 3 on the board. And no value coming out of corralling NRG outside of the A site. And Moose is left alone, 1 versus 4. EDS with the Odin, but that's it. Closing it round. A quad for Ethan and 9-3 for NRG.
Quad for Ethan, a triple even in the round they lost last time. You can just tell the amount of members of C9 going down in the rounds they win or even lose is hurting the economy, hurting the game, and on top of that, fans, they just don't have the read on FNS's attack side right now. NRG, what a slick first half here to pull out a 9-3 and so dominant.
Not enough utility to also blind those players that were outside of that radius of that lockdown, so it didn't look good there for C9 on their attempt to retake. A struggling first half that you have on that side, and definitely a dominating first half for NRG. And let's see if NRG could speedrun this after the break.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the half now as we switch sides and we take a look at C9's offense. So what's something that we talked about right before the matchup that could maybe be a problem for the boys in C9?
Look, Cloud9 have won 0 gun rounds in their last 3 maps that they played. The only 2 rounds they've won are a pistol and a round 2. It has been dreadful. But even if you want to look at those 3 maps and say, hey, they're not Ascent, you can cope with that. You look at the last Ascent game they played, they won 3 rifle or 3 attack rounds out of 12. They now need to win 10 to win this game.
And specifically in that Ascent, I think a lot of issues were cropping up for this team. Specifically, I was looking at the way they were playing the post plant. Sentinels was playing a lot of these fast flood retakes, especially on the A site. And I think Cloud9 was not quick enough to get set up in the proper post plant positions, and they were getting overwhelmed before their crosshairs were ready on the crossfire.
And that was coming even with numbers advantages. They only converted 11% of their 5v4s, where they're up a full player.
Yeah, you're essentially hoping for C9 to not just turn it around, but turn it around in a big way. And remember, they're going to need to do that. Every single map matters in this series here. NRG trying to stay alive in the season. C9 trying to lock in playoffs. Let's send it back over to the casters.
So if I'm huffing the C9 Copium, you're telling me that there's at least able to win pistol rounds, right? So winning a pistol round, maybe converting that pistol, giving them a chance here to come back in this game on Ascent so far. But yeah, with what Ender was mentioning here on the Death Riv, it doesn't look like it's going to be an easy task for C9 once we get these gun rounds.
I mean, maybe they could turn time back and get the Eagle round win rate back up again. Get that 30+%.
Got a lost value at least, but unfortunately Oxy couldn't get any of those kills. And what they're good on so far in these pistol rounds is slowly falling apart. Only Rooney and Simple left, and they're pushing through. NRG just takes the fight to Cloud9. Rooney's left alone now, spotted by Som.
3 gone.
At least manages to get the headshot onto Victor, but down to 20 HP, and everywhere he goes, he just gets shot in the back. And unfortunately, that is no pistol round for Cloud9. It goes in the favor of NRG.
Let's see what the buys are. They stay classics. Rooney gets a Sheriff, of course. So Rooney would get a Sheriff. And Oxy will grab a Stinger. So we'll decide here whether or not they got coupons to buy enough. They're going to try to save into this next round because obviously the money's not going to be good. And NRG, they're not going to have any of this joking around. They won't let Cloud9 do anything too weird. Watch NRG just play far back in the sights here and make Cloud9 walk into sight. All right. One way slows them down at first, but it does look like Cloud9 is going to stay with the death ball and see what they can do to get at least some plant money down here. And maybe pick up one of these weapons in A.
Definitely looked like they didn't want to pop flash into the A main. They want to use that util for the A site hit, and there's the full hit. Not a good timing, though, as Son was able to break that recon before he gets blinded. Oxy finds space and finds a kill at least. 5 players now moving in for Cloud9. 3 on the top of heaven, and that's the wall bank coming out from Ethan. Turret now gets broken. Ethan is looking for more kills. Cloudburst dissipates. 1-on-1 against Rooney. Wins that fight as well. Back out to the Classic. He has support on the side. Drops to the ground. But the Classics from Cloud9 are answering back. Advantage back for Cloud9 as they get the plat down. No upgrades yet, though. Running towards these rifles if they can. Moose upgrades into a Bulldog. It's up to Finesse and Crashies. Only with a Spectre and a Ghost. And they're isolated. Finesse is looking for the first contact.
Shoulder.
Potentially sees the shoulder exactly as Zeppa towards that A main. And it's trying to lurk through towards the generator. It's smoked out. Gets the spray through the smoke. That is dirty. Back to a 2v2. Finesse closes the gap towards A main. Zeppa falls, and it's up to Moose alone. Bobby weaving away out towards hell, but not enough for the kill. Crashies will then come in for the defuse, but it's Poolchan with 3K.
Crazy stuff there. I thought it might be a little overboard when we had NRG Batmaning into sight there, one person at a time. That got a little crazy. But yeah, they correct it. And once Oxy picked up that Bulldog, it needed just one more kill maybe, or someone to grab it. That Bulldog was the winning potential for the round. And it was so good for NRG to instantly drop it. So C9 could not use that advantage. Cleaning up, like you said, Finesse coming in clean there. Able to get those last few kills with the Spectre along with the team. And NRG now 11-3 here as we get to the bonus. Operator for Victor here to shut down these plays of C9. Where's he going to go to? Already milling about. Didn't get what he wanted in the beginning, so mid is the play.
It's a heavy investment. Already identified by Cloud9, but no hits coming through from the first op shot bullet coming out from Victor. Gives him an opportunity until I say that. Crashies able to ADS down Oxy from the switch. Closes that door and does not give a chance here for Cloud9 to go for a trade.
Fans, and that's what we were talking about before. The fact that there's these solo peaks. You just run up on the other side and Oxy's still trying to do that. And while Oxy himself has said, it's like 4v5. I'm out there and if I die, it's still 4v5. But you got to make those plays at this point. 11-3 down. You can't just be going for the 1v1s. NRG is cleaning up everything. It's going to be a drone towards B. Victor's ready with the off just on the other side here as they walk into these trips as well.
And they're just waiting for that cage to come down, and hopefully with the cage coming down, there's 3 players that could actually take at least a trade. So they're trying at least a buddy system for a trade, but they meet up with the op once again of Victor, who this time lands the shot. And with Zeppa isolated towards Pizza, there was no extra utility to help them pop flash out. And here comes the continuous heroic plays out of Cloud9. Yes, it manages to get a few kills, but not enough map control as Moose is left stranded towards the A site.
10 seconds
Tap
left.
forward, there's still Ethan dancing around the generator, but he's not even needed as Victor comes out and sweeps the last kill to put NRG on map point.
Look, Crash, he got the op. He's like, give me this. I'm running into sight. We need to switch guns. I don't want to be aiming with the op when I jump in. Just feeling it right now. Yeah, bye-bye. And it's highly unlikely that Oxy would see the op there, so it's kind of a 1v1 peak, but still, shots haven't been hitting. Why take the high risk? At this point, NRG is cleaning up everything in their shots, whether they're doubled up or not in the face. So, pause for Cloud9, and he's going to get back in the ear of the squad as they discuss what could be a way to bring back some rounds here, but they got a long road ahead of them, and it looks like the next map may be there before they reach this tie.
Wasn't even able to get that plan on that previous round too, so the economy is not the best coming on their end too, as well. So they'll have to discuss this. One, identify where Victor is going to be placing the operator, how to play against that, and then also how to work the map, because, I mean, we've only gone through 3 rounds here of this second half. There was not enough cushion here for Cloud9 to really understand how NRG is currently playing their defensive side, so you got to stick to your game plan, and you're hoping that your game plan is going to work now on the side of Cloud9.
So Interesting here the way FNS has been playing the trips and how C9 has to worry about them. We haven't been seeing them get cleared out, so that's been a lot of trouble for them to get into sight here. Some low buys on the side of C9 as we get into this one.
And at the beginning, before we went to the timeout, there was a lot of small shields with Vandals, but they decided to go for the lower buy so they could have that utility to add up to what they could do on the attack side, especially when you're looking at this buy. Rooney doesn't have a drone. It's going to make it even more difficult for them to really try to split towards this B site, where it seems at least the game plan at the beginning. Trip broken now by Oxy. Falls back in. At least is able to waste down potentially this dash from Victor.
He's loving it. If you saw the cam there when he was dashing, he's got a smile on his face. Oxy's looking for that play. He's in it, but the play is in B.
Trap kill coming through, and Crashies is able to get that one. Victor then answers back onto Moose. Oxy re-engaging back towards the middle. Once again, the buddy system is still better for NRG. A 1-for-1 player advantage. The hat to get information in it. They'll know. They've isolated the last two players of Cloud9 inside this B site. Thankfully, though, it is an Odin in the hands of Zeppa and a Guardian for Vanity, so they have some weaponry to work with. The wallbang starts first. He tries to counter-bang across with the Odin.
He's limping.
And there's nothing in the system. There's no flashes to come out. There's no knife. The Paranoia first. And last to go is the last to fall. Vanity picked by Victor, and Cloud9 crumbles to Energy on Ascent. What
a first map. I mean, Finesse set the pace in the first few rounds. The transition from A, B. In the first round, you get an operator. They start going mid and absolutely splitting Cloud9. And you can see Cloud9, they're obviously smiling right now. They didn't want to lose, but they know that was just out of their hands with the way NRG was playing. What a clean game. And I think for the NRG fans, this is what they've been waiting to see. That behind each other play, the confidence in each other's shots, the strategies, in FNS being on the outside of the map, just calling a masterclass of a game.
Icebox coming up next, and it's going to be after the break.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.